This is crazy, I'm on the right track, I'm finally found. You need some soul searching, the time is now. All I need is one mic.
Okay, so I got my first report back, and I can see that it's being read at like 8 o'clock at night, whatever. And I can see that the email was being read from an iPhone at their house. And their IP addresses wouldn't differ if they were home because they're on the same network, therefore using the same internet, therefore having the same IP address. Because the IP address is not your individual computer, but from your modems.
Okay, while I was editing this, I realized that I left out an email. Now, I just kind of kept sending him emails because I was trying to get their IP addresses. So every email I would send one to my brother's account, the one that I've known him to have for years, and then I would send one to the new account, the one that Satan was operating. The other thing was I was trying to text him, and I was doing this because I was trying to get him, I was trying to get a record of me trying to communicate with him and him refusing to communicate with me, because this will help my case if, I want to have him removed as executor. I also tried to text him because, again, it would just be more record for me. So on August 31st, I tried sending him 2 texts about, he wanted the checks to get signed and this and that. And so I'm going to show you guys those texts. It says, "Hey, Stephen, been trying to get in touch with you for days. You were so anxious to get those checks out to pay off all mommy's debt. I thought you'd just like to meet so we can sign the checks and get it over with already. Guess you can't." So then I wrote, "Also, I need the name of mommy's additional life insurance policy. You, quote unquote, said that you'd send it last night and you never did." This was about my 5th time asking, maybe 4th or 5th time, I don't remember. And also have to add that I was blocked because these texts came back green, which means I am blocked by iMessage. Then I emailed him because, again, I wanted to keep making this record. And I wrote, "I tried to text you today twice. This is the 5th or so time I am asking. Please give me the name of the life insurance policy. Have a great day, asshole."
I get this as a reply to my last email. "I will send you the documents in a timely manner. I don't have them with me. Have you contacted the realtor regarding listing mom's house yet? Has your attorney provided my attorney with the breakdown of reimbursements you are claiming yet? Again, I will need to review them before signing the check. Going forward, expenses should not be paid out of pocket with the expectation that the estate will reimburse them as an estate account has been opened. I also called the town to find out if there is a CO for the porch at my mom's house and found out that there is not. The realtor had asked about this. We will need to start the process of obtaining one. This includes applying for one, having the home inspected after providing the survey and building plans. Then a list of deficiencies will be issued if necessary. If there are no deficiencies, the CO can be issued. This can be a time-consuming process. If you are having trouble reaching me, I could be reached at contact information below, via mail," and she gives me her fucking home address as if I didn't know it, asshole, "via phone," and she gives me their house number once again. So when my brother was at work and if I wanted to call him, I had to call their house phone, leave a message so Satan could screen the phone call and then tell my brother what to say and then he could call me back. And I know this for a fact. So again now, okay, every time I responded to an email, it's like she added in like more information. She was trying to like overwhelm me with information. But when she had made mention of this CO about the porch, my brain went like it was like Wayne's World. I went back in time. I hopped in my little DeLorean and went back to when my mom was in the hospital. My mom started to like question me, like, this is so upsetting and it really fucking pisses me off that I even did this. When my mom was in the hospital during that last week and that attorney was supposed to come up and we were supposed to have her will redone and everything like that, and my mom had mentioned putting my brother and me as co-executors, I was like so confused. Reason being is because, like I told you guys 1,000 times at this point, my mom told everybody she knew that she wanted me to be the executor and seemed to have full confidence in me, and I was just like, what changed? And I questioned her. And unfortunately, the last text message that I sent to my mom while she was in the hospital was about this. because these assholes made me crazy. And I started to think my mom was plotting against me, because this is what narcissists like Satan do. They try to just fuck with your head as much as possible. And I have to admit, it was working a little bit, because I'm in a vulnerable place and my brain was just frazzled at that point. And I asked my mom, and she used this example, which I found very strange. And it was about the CO for the porch. She was like,
and as you guys could see, I highlighted it. She's like, I don't think you were stupid at all, but it's going to be hard because there are going to be issues with the town because we didn't get CO permits and variants for some things. Now, do I think my mom was thinking about this on her own? No. Obviously, my brother had a conversation with her and they were talking about selling her house, and this came up because they bought the house in 1981. Why would you even be thinking of this, you know? And so obviously my brother put this in her head. And also notice how he said, she wrote, I know you'll figure it out. And if you need Steven's help, you're going to have to take it without fighting. The fact that she said that lets me know that they were telling her that, like, I was the one fighting everything.
why did she bring that up as an example? And then now all of a sudden Satan's using it against me. Like, did you know that your mom's porch didn't have a CO? A certificate of occupancy. It was basically just some type of like permit from the town. I knew only because my mom used it as an example to say why she thought I wouldn't be able to handle things. And I'm like, that's interesting. Now Satan's bringing it up and trying to use it against me. You didn't know this. Again, just trying to outdo me, and I know more about your mom, and I know more about the estate, and I know more about everything, and you're a fucking idiot. That tells me that my brother and Satan were in my mom's ear. They were probably already looking in to see if my mom had a CO on her porch. So they used that as a way to convince my mom that I wasn't capable of handling her estate. And again, think of how fucked up that is. Just saying. These two assholes who weren't around in her life for the last 3 years of her life thought, how could we make Carol doubt Leanna? Assholes. This person's a piece of shit. It's just so disgusting. Okay, so I didn't respond to her email that night, which was the 31st. And instead I responded the next day on September 1st. Now from this point forward, every email that I sent back to them, I sent it through this tracker. So the first couple of emails that I sent to them, I only sent it to the new email address. And then I realized in my head, I was like, wait a second, that's not gonna prove anything. I need to prove that my brother's not reading these emails. And so I started sending them to both email addresses. So his regular email address and the new one that Satan made, that Satan was operating. So I wrote back to her the next day. It was the Thursday before Labor Day. And I wrote back to her at 11:06 a.m. and I said, I don't need documents. A name and policy number will be fine. Bullet point 2. I'll call a real estate agent in a timely manner. I'm just giving her back what she gave to me. I know a real estate agent. He was friends with my ex. Thanks for picking him. This was some guy that they went to school with, and clearly they had this guy come and look at the house because, like, how did he know my mom had a porch and needed a CO? Bullet point 3, don't worry about signing my check right now. I'm not in a rush for it. Bullet point number 4, okay, I haven't paid anything except the landscaper, which I will continue to pay because it's easier. The landscaper charged me $25 a week, and that's what I told her I paid out of pocket. She's telling me I'm not gonna be reimbursed because we have an estate account. Honey, I'm sorry, but like to pay $25 to a landscaper, I don't need to go mail you a check, wait a week for you to mail it back because you can't come to my house, you can't see me, you can't meet up with me in person. So I just figured, you know what, I'll pay the $25. I didn't even care to get reimbursed about it. It's $25. I really didn't give a shit, to be honest with you guys. But anyway, I said, I'm well aware of the lack of CO for my mom's porch. I grew up there my entire life. Okay? Next bullet point. Oh, is your cell phone broken or something? That's so weird that you can't talk to me when you are alone and can only talk from your house phone or through this new email. It's almost as if someone is monitoring your interaction with me. Hope everything is okay. Of course, I had to be a smartass. I said, you should probably get your cell phone looked at though, because it would be in the best interest of the estate that I could get in contact with you at all times, not just when you are home. Maybe you have the my phone works for email but nothing else virus. I would get that looked at ASAP. As for other things, if you happen to go by my mom's house tonight, please don't leave another mess. I will be bringing my Nana there tomorrow to look at the bed. It will be upsetting enough that the house is vacant and still a mess from last time. There's no need to further upset her. Oh, and to answer your question about the delivery charge to the estate, I'd never do that. It's my Nana. I don't need to be reimbursed with my own money for her. I could pay out of pocket, but thanks, me. All right? So I press send on that email, September 1st, and I get an email report back. Call me a leprechaun because I struck gold. I get back my first report, and wouldn't you know, someone who works for Liberty Mutual opened my email and read it from an iPhone. Who works at Liberty Mutual? Let me think about that. Satan! So weird, this whole time, all these weird things are happening. All of a sudden you create a new email address and then you refuse to meet with me in person. And then I can only call your house phone and you have me blocked on my cell phone. I can't give you things, I have to mail things to your house. And then all of a sudden you're talking like a demanding asshole, kind of like your wife talks. And wouldn't you know, my emails are being read at Liberty Mutual where your wife works. What's the chances? Is this a coincidence? No, it's called insulting my intelligence. Satan thought she was so smart, but guess what, bitch? I'm 10 steps ahead of ya. I'm a leader. You on some following shit. Coming in this game on some modeling shit. Hey, yo, Prodigy, tell him what this is, son. I'm 10 steps ahead of ya. While being a fucking psychopath bitch and kind of surprising and shocking, she was also very predictable. And so I knew that I would need more than just one of these reports to prove that my brother was not even reading these emails. And so from that point on, every email that I sent to them, I would send to my brother's regular email address and Satan's email address. Now, the reason I did this is because I wanted to catch my brother's IP and prove that he's here reading emails and she's there reading emails. Half hour after I get my first report, struck gold, bitch. I struck gold. I should be a rapper. Do I sound like Drake? I struck gold, bitch. I struck gold. Your little plan fold. Oh shit, it's cold. Liana is bold. I got a hold on your email, you stupid female. Alright, whatever. Almost a half hour later, I receive a reply back from asshole. Let me just explain this too. Every time the email is opened, I would receive a report. So I got a report that Satan opened the email at Liberty Mutual. Now, I got a reply. No other reports came to me. Now, if my brother opened the email and even read it, I would have gotten another report with another device and another location. You know, it's pretty safe to assume that the person who opened the email last also replied, because I didn't get any other reports. So obviously I got a reply and I didn't get another report. So obviously that person who accessed the email last is the one who replied to me. That's who wrote the email. I hope this makes sense to you guys. I'm like all over the place right now. Anyway, so I get another email back with her. Glad you know the real estate agent. Let me know when you speak with him. If you insist in paying for the landscaper out of your pocket, save the bills and payment receipts for reimbursement. Like, no shit. Ugh, I hate this girl. Since you already know about the CO, you know how difficult and time-consuming it could be to remedy. Have you taken any steps to start the process yet? Like, no bitch, because once again, I only had my papers for 5 days and I can't really do this shit. My cell phone is fully functional. I have a very demanding job. Here we go. Here is the second time I'm told that you have a very demanding job.
Unfortunately, I have a demanding job right now.
Yet you have time to write all these emails and make all these phone calls and all this other shit during your job, right? Okay. My cell phone is fully functional. I have a very demanding job, like most executors. Let me read that again. I have a very demanding job, like most executors. This is the first of many little shots that she took at me because I guess I'm a stay-at-home mom, which is so funny because, you know, the second time Satan came over to my house, she told me that she was a stay-at-home mom, and she's like, I live in this big house and I used to just sit home and spend my husband's money all day. Bitch, I don't sit home and spend my husband's money all day like you. I don't think it's cute to be taking your husband's credit card and buying a bunch of unnecessary shit and putting yourself in debt. Sorry, not cute, not cool, you're an asshole. And you still use your husband's credit card, you dumb bitch. She took so many jabs at me for being a stay-at-home mom as if I never worked, like, in my life. I'm like, bitch, I worked my whole life. Just because I'm not working right now, that doesn't mean I'm an idiot. I wasn't always a stay-at-home mom, thank you. I worked up until the day I had my son. I was on my way to work, okay? Go fuck yourself, you dumb bitch. Jealous of my lifestyle, bitch. Anyway, as I've stated numerous times, I use my lunch break to handle estate matters. Really? Is it your lunch break at 8 o'clock in the morning? Is it your lunch break at 11 o'clock? Just because I am co-executor, that does not mean that I have to be available to you 24/7. The contact information I've provided is more than sufficient to get a timely response from me. Now, hold on. Listen to this shit, okay? I was already well aware that you are bringing Nana to the house. After the mess you say I left, I saw your pictures and they were nonsense. Gets worse. It would have taken less time to pick up the one paper and leaf than it did to snap pictures. I need a punching bag next to me right now. I really do. I think I'm gonna get a heavy bag and just whack that shit. We both know your old bedroom has been a mess since before Mom passed away. And I don't even know what I'm looking at with the hamper in the bedroom. This is the last time I'll address this. Little did this bitch know, Steven and Liana are completely different people. And so you're not gonna manipulate Liana like you manipulate Steven. It's not gonna happen, honey. I'm so sorry, so sorry. So I sent this email to both accounts now. I started sending them all to the new account that Satan was operating and the old account that I knew my brother to have for years, okay? And when I did so, I was shocked to find out that guess what? The emails that I was sending to my brother's old account were also being opened up at Liberty Mutual.
Okay, so here was the first report I got back, and this is from an email that I sent to the Stephen J. Smith account that was opened up, as you guys could see, several times at Liberty Mutual. And then I sent another email to my brother's regular email account, and that was also opened at Liberty Mutual. And now, if you guys remember a couple episodes ago, she had sent me this email telling me that from now on, any email I send to my brother's regular account are going to be forwarded to the new account so she doesn't miss them. And as I said, I know she was going to use some type of excuse like, oh, he was there visiting me for lunch or something like that. So I had to keep sending emails through this tracker. But it was Friday and now the weekend was coming. And so it was a long weekend because it was Labor Day. So I had to wait.
So now it's Saturday and it's Labor Day weekend this weekend. I didn't talk too in depth about this and I'll get into it now. You know, when my mom passed away, this hit my grandmother pretty hard. Over that 6-month period that we had to wait until we became executors, or 7 months, whatever it was, you know, my grandmother, I had spoken to her a lot and I could tell that like her grief was just kind of being swept under the carpet by my mom's siblings, which is really sad to me because I really think she could have benefited from seeing a grief counselor. She started having all these like, you know, problems where she was getting vertigo and getting dizzy and feeling like she was going to pass out. And, you know, personally, I don't know, but I feel like it was probably anxiety playing a role because, you know, she would say things to me like, that's my baby, and, you know, you're just not, like, your kid is not supposed to die before you. You know? And it doesn't matter how old people are. My grandmother was in shock. My family has to blame it on her age. Yes, she was 90, and in fact, she was just about to turn 91. While I do, you know, attribute some of the brain issues that she's having to her age and dementia, the way it came on so rapidly after my mom passed away, from what I read about, you know, grief, losing a child, the elderly, and all this kind of shit, like, this had to kind of exacerbate that and make shit worse for my grandmother, you know? I mean, she was in shock. My grandmother didn't know my mom was sick, you know? She didn't know that my mom had cancer. And then it's just like, she finds out, and 2 days later, my mom's gone. And it's like, she never got that chance to say goodbye. And so every time I would talk to my nana, she would tell me the same stories, and, you know, she would say the same things. And every time I went to her apartment, she would show me the pictures and, you know, your mom made this card for me and this and that. And so I really thought my grandmother would kind of benefit from like going to my mom's house and just kind of like just saying goodbye, kind of get a little bit of closure, and then also be able to take what she wants. And I know my mom would have wanted this. Like, that's the most important part. This is not just a process for me. Okay, this was a process for everybody. And so I opened that up to not just my grandmother, but I wanted her to go first. But then after that, you know, I offered to have all my aunts and uncles, they were able to come over. And in fact, I think I called my brother and left a message about it on his answering machine at home, because I'm not allowed to call his cell phone. I'm fucking pissed off at my aunts. I don't even want to talk to them, but I wanted to give them the opportunity to be able to go over to my mom's house and take something, because, you know, again, it's not about me. It's about my mom, dude, and what she wanted. And the whole reason I wanted to become an executor was to carry her wishes out in the way that she wanted them to be carried out. And so I knew that my mom would want my grandmother to be able to come over the house and take what she wanted, whether it was clothes or jewelry or whatever. At that time, my grandmother was having a lot of problems with vertigo, and she had fallen a couple of times. And so, you know, this 91-year-old woman, they're so concerned about her, but yet she's living by herself. Totally separate story. They got her like this life alert thing, and they were making her walk with a walker. So I knew me, Leanna, going to pick Nana up and bring her to my mom's house was going to be a big fucking deal. Since I was only at that point in time talking to only one of my mom's siblings, really, her sisters, I called her up and I told her, you know, listen, I want to bring Nana over there and let her just kind of get like a last goodbye to my mom's house before it's empty and we sell it. You know, I had already started to take some stuff, and then, you know, of course my brother and his wife left the mess that they left there, and you know, so the house is gonna be a little bit shocking. I was a little worried, but I had called my grandmother up like probably a week prior and offered to her, and she was so excited about it. So I was like, listen, I'll come pick you up. I'll bring you out there. You could test the bed out, because again, we were gonna give my grandmother, my mom's bed, you know, let you lay on it, let you see if you could, you know, because they had concerns that it was too high up for her and all this other bullshit. And so I said, you know, you come over, pick whatever you want, you can take whatever you want. If you feel comfortable with the bed, we'll bring the bed over to your house. My mom's oldest brother, and well, actually both our brothers, offered to help out and bring the bed to the house. So the day I go to pick my grandmother up, which was that Saturday, September 2nd, I call her up that morning and I'm like, hey Nana, it's Leanna, you know, how are you doing? She's like, oh, you know, I'm okay. Now again, at this point in time, she was dealing with some vertigo and all of a sudden, very weird, she goes, I don't know if I could go. I'm scared. I'm a little afraid. I don't know if I should go. And I was like, all right, Nana, well, you know, I'll come over and see you regardless. What am I gonna do? I knew this wasn't her speaking. We had discussed this now a few times about her coming over to my mom's house, and she was very excited about it. She was very happy about it. And so I'm like, why all of a sudden is she scared to go over there? I call up my mom's youngest sister, Aunt Dana, and I'm like, why is Nana all of a sudden scared to come? I'm like, let me guess. Debbie and Betty must have called her up and got her all nervous. Oh, Mommy, be careful. Mommy, we don't want you to fall. Oh, Mommy, make sure Leanna does this. And they scared the shit out of her. I was so fucking pissed off. I really was, because I knew it wasn't my Nana. I knew she didn't change her mind. I knew that they called her up and got her fucking nervous, because that's what they do. They do this all the time. Nobody can handle Nana. God forbid Nana's a Fabergé egg and I can't handle Fabergé eggs, because I'm just like Butterfingers, right? I was pissed because I knew my Nana was excited, and I'm like, how fucking dare they? First they lie to her about my mom having cancer, Betty. Now you're gonna like deprive her of being able to come over to my mom's house and get some closure that she wasn't able to get because nobody talked about her grief. She should have been seeing a grief counselor. This woman was grieving. It doesn't matter if she's 90 years old and you guys think she's out in La La Land. She was grieving. Nobody acknowledged that. I saw several pictures, videos, and they treat my Nana like she's this little showpiece, because, you know, my Nana's a hot little thing for a 90-year-old woman. I mean, she looks good for her age and shit, and she's in good shape. They love the attention that gets. It's like, she's so beautiful. She looks so great for her age. Look at her go. They love that shit. I don't know why, but they like thrive off of it. And so they'll post videos of her dancing, and I'm like, okay, so she could dance when you guys are with her, but I can't walk her to my mom's front door. You guys think you're helping her all the time, but really you're hurting her, because you, for whatever reason, want to like stop her from having feelings. It's like, oh my God, we don't want Mommy to feel upset. God forbid she dealt with her emotions. God forbid she worried that her daughter had cancer. Normal people don't do that. She's a human being. And for some reason, these people just don't want her to feel any emotion except happy. It's like she's that little puppet on the string. Hey, here's Nana, like, you know. but they don't want to like they don't want her to deal with anything. And I'm like, excuse me, this woman didn't make it to 91 by mistake. She's pretty damn strong mentally. They're like, let's keep Nana delusional. She needs to live in delusion land. They control the information that she gets. Anyway, I hung up with my Nana, I called my aunt, and then a couple of minutes later, my Nana calls me back, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'll be fine, I'll be fine. And I was like, all right, Nana, you sure? You're 100% sure? She's like, yes. So I said, okay, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna come pick you up, okay? So I drive to her house. When I get to her house, I had a look on her caller ID. Sure enough, right after I called her that morning to tell her that I was gonna come pick her up, my Aunt Debbie called, Aunt Betty called, and my Uncle Bob. All of them called her. Why? To get her all freaked out. Oh, mommy, be careful.